This is the Promising Practices for Health Equity podcast, brought to you by the Interdisciplinary Research Leaders Program, a national leadership program of the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation.
Hello and welcome to Promising Practices for Health Equity, the podcast created by the Interdisciplinary Research Leaders Program, affectionately known as IRL, where we explore innovative and actionable strategies to meaningfully advance health equity. I'm your host, Krystal Lee, and I'm joined by my phenomenal colleagues and co-hosts, J. Robin Moon, Mandy LaBreche, and Cody Cotton. Hey, friends.
Hey,
Hi,
Krystal.
All right, so we are kicking off season 3 of the podcast. Y'all, it has been such a journey. Can you believe we're already at season 3?
No.
Season 3, it's going to be a little bit different than seasons 1 and 2, right? So seasons 1 and 2 were heavily interview based. We talked with individuals in season 1 about like the creation, the building, the execution of the program itself, IRL. And in season 2, we talked with fellows and teams from cohort 1 all the way up to cohort 7 about their projects and about the promising practices that came about from their projects or that they utilized in their projects. Season 3 is a little bit different. Season 3 captures our time together at our final IRL Minnesota leadership meeting. Today, what I want us to do is just talk about our experience of the final Minnesota meeting, our reflections. But before that, we're gonna do a check-in. Cody, what's our check-in question?
Our check-in question. What feeling are we holding as we are entering our last days together of IRL?
Ooh.
What feeling are we holding as we are entering our last few days of IRL?
Are you gonna model?
I will model. I have definitely a lot of feelings. One of them will be gratitude, of course. And I would say probably from this meeting, immense hope. A lot of hope from this meeting and being together.
You took mine, Cody. I think mine's gratitude as well. Just like gratitude for the whole experience, gratitude to be connected to so many different folks. And yeah, just gratitude for being able to hold space year after year for all these amazing people. And yeah, so I think gratitude, although there's lots of feelings.
Yes, all of that. And I'm going to say pride. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of us. We pulled together a elitist leadership program into something that is unprecedented.
Yeah.
And it's a 7 years, 9 years, 10 years of process. But we put the end mark, with that acknowledgement collectively, everybody who attended the meeting. So we are here on a Saturday, September 27th, and the meeting ended yesterday, September 26th, 2025, with 100 plus people in the room who collectively in unison agreed that this was something revolutionary. So I'm proud of us for having created that space for that many leaders who will go change the future.
Yes.
I told Robin that I actually left my feelings at home in a suitcase.
How do you do that?
I have lots of practice. It's okay. I have a therapist. It's fine. It would be very easy for me to just be a puddle.
Like me?
Yes. And I think there's only space for one puddle. No, but I am also feeling pride about what we have been able to accomplish. There have been some significant shifts in the program since I started just over 4 years ago. And I'm so pleased to see the impact and the results of the work that we have put in. I think it is clear to see that the folks who are involved in the planning and execution of these programs, of the IRL program at the National Program Center and our various committees, I think it's clear to see that we are all committed to the work and we think the work is important. And we are doing this work in very difficult times, but we still keep going.
Yeah.
And for me, that's because I think the work is important. And I think there are many of us who believe the same thing. And so I am grateful, like Cody and Mandy mentioned, for the community, for the opportunity, for the personal and professional growth that I've experienced over the last 4 years. And over the last 2 days with all the fellows and alum that we brought back together, the NAC, the CAB, everybody who was able to be with us this week. I'm grateful for that community. I am grateful that y'all were so nice to my parents. I brought my parents with me to see the work that I'm proud of. That's what I told them. I want them to come see the work that I do that I'm proud of and the people who make it worth it for me. And so, I'm holding a lot, even though the suitcase is in Baltimore. I thought I left my feelings at home, but I scraped some together here. So thank you all for checking in. So let's talk reflections. The IRL Minnesota Leadership Meeting is one of two in-person gatherings, convenings that we have done every year over the last 10 years of the program.
During the pandemic.
Except during the pandemic. Some years there were 3 meetings, but for the most part, there's always been 2. And for this time, our theme was celebrating the future of our beloved community. And this time around, we wanted to create space for cross-cohort celebration of what we've been able to accomplish over the last 10 years, and importantly, make space for a collective reflection on IRL's impact. We, again, spent some time celebrating IRL's legacy. We had a legacy wall up in the room where folks could, tape things that were representative of the impact that IRL had on them and on their communities, on their work. And we also created space for folks to reflect on their individual and collective IRL experiences. And then we importantly spent time dreaming and envisioning the future that we were all working towards. And I think you'll hear a lot of that specifically in our story jam, which we will share over 2 episodes later on this season. Just stories and reflections that our fellows and some NAC members shared about the future that they are working towards and the world that we want to see. So that's kind of the overview of what happened these last couple of days. So let's hear from you all. What are your reflections on the final IRL Minnesota meeting?
Yeah. What is that one thing or one feeling, one learning, anything?
The thing that stood out the most to me was when we come together, we set these curriculums, we set these meetings, we do our best to make it align with the objectives, and we learn so much based upon what was said on the curriculum. What a lot of people did not know, that we will learn a lot about what it means to be in a relationship. What does it mean to be, I would even say, in parenthood, right? You take so many things, you learn so many things that's not directly tied to the curriculum. Just learning a lot of things about life. We were able to build these relationships with people. You start to connect about a lot more than just what you came there to connect about. So I think being able to see that growth, not only in leadership, but even in the leadership of the fellows, has been amazing. And it really shows how holistic this program is.
Yeah, I think just building on what Cody had to say, I just think the level of connection is just so beyond my wildest imagination in this program. And being able to, of course, bring cohort 7 and then have different folks from cohorts 1 through 6, our alumni cohorts. And I mean, some of these people haven't seen each other in 4 or 5 years, maybe, but just the way that they connect with each other and I don't know, I don't even really have the words, but I mean, people were meeting each other for the first time at this convening and, walking away with a new friend, a new connection, someone people are traveling to see each other and just, yeah, the level of connection and just like care that people bring and love that they show to one another is just really remarkable. And I think everyone, no matter what their experience was or is in the IRL program, I think everyone's just walking away with so many deep connections, both personally and professionally. And yeah, no matter really what your experience was, everyone in a way found their people. And I think that's something really, really special.
Krystal and I had the privilege to do an opening remark as the co-chairs of the meeting, and I said this, and in that remark, thinking about the dissemination, and we've come such a long way, like from research brief, issue brief only to like different kinds of modality. And then the meeting itself was the dissemination product. And it's not just the outcome of like the, final results of what came out of it, like, or like, that what academics do so well, the proceedings of the meeting, but the process is a process-oriented dissemination outcome product. So I said it's something like an installation art and performance art in one. So installation art is artists in a museum or outside, like the whole process of installing it in and of itself, watching it, the process is the art, and then you have the audience. And performance art is like an installation art, like whereas you know what the outcome should look like because you have the roadmap and you build it. Performance art is like participated by the audience with the artist, and you don't really know how it's gonna come out. What comes out is what comes out.
Yeah.
And I really visualized the entire meeting of the 2 days. That's what we were doing. So you mentioned Krystal Legacy Wall and all the story jam that you're gonna hear, and some of other gems of conversation. We like didn't really know what was gonna come out, but we created that space. We installed it together, and it's like truly collaborative. Everybody installed it and performed together. So that's what I think about.
I think that's what makes it beautiful.
So from a curriculum perspective, my work is done in advance to kind of set the stage for what can emerge, to Robin's point. It's always nerve-wracking for me, but to think about like releasing control of to just see what, because I just have to see what happens. And for me, the quality of the outcome indicates the quality of the work, and the outcome allows me to figure out what I can do differently or better next time to influence the outcome. And Robin and I have had the privilege of co-chairing the last 2 meetings, and I have been very proud of what has emerged in the spaces. I think that one of the things that Robin says a lot on this podcast is, this was made as a research program, but we can see that the research is only a part of what happens here in the IRL community. Cody mentioned relationships, and a lot of folks talked in these last 2 days about the importance of relationships in doing the work. And I think it's easy from a research perspective to think like the research is the primary thing, like we have to
the end goal.
And the end goal, right? It's the thing that's of the highest importance. And what I think we've learned as part of this community is that relationships are actually, some folks might argue, but the relationships to me are the more important piece. And the relationships influence how you do the work. So folks talked about needing to pivot in their research projects for whatever reason, COVID or, unable to get access to their populations or whatever it is that happened. And the program allowing them to make those pivots, which folks indicated is unusual for funders to allow. And the fact that they were allowed to do that and they could think about how to do this work differently, I think was an important space that IRL created. And from a curriculum perspective, I'm able to use that to influence how we plan for these convenings, and then just allow it to happen. To Robin's point about, us creating the art together. And so that's kind of what I hold from these, specifically the last two convenings that I've had significant input in, is just the beauty of what comes from the planning once I release it and just allow it to be what it is, allow it to be what it's gonna be. And there's so much beauty in that. Some things can be planned very rigidly, and some things are just best if you just allow them to be. And I think that's a lesson that I have learned over these last few years working with IRL, and that will continue to influence my work. Let's wrap up with thinking about the closing prompt that you offered for the fellows yesterday. Cody, tell us what it is, and then we will answer.
Tell us about the closing ceremony.
Tell us about the closing ceremony.
Our channeling our restorative practice. It was beautiful.
Appreciate that. So for our closing ceremony, we wanted to have each one of the fellows, as well as everyone in the room, really acknowledge what they were feeling at the time, whether it was big, whether it was small. And then we took a moment to close our eyes and visualize, what would that feature headline say for the newspaper? What would the feature headline say from the impact of your research? What would a community member testimony be to you? Or what would a loved one, a family member probably say to you once your dream come into fruition? And it was a space that we held together. We took deep breaths. We acknowledged it. We held the feeling. And we got a chance to share it across the room. And it was beautiful. And we heard different things. But I think the thing that was most important was it was a vision of the future. And more importantly than anything, it's also a possibility.
And what did you say? What was your headline?
My headline was, Daddy, I'm proud of you. When we first discussed about doing the wrap up and the closing ceremony, everything resonated. And when I thought about the headline from a research paper and the impact that was created by it, I thought, man, that's important. I think to some people, more than anything, it might be what your people closest to you say. It might be what your family said. And a lot of the work that we do, we each have our reasons, our motivations for why. The big reason for why I do what I do is my family. And the moment I've always felt the most proudest has been when my kids tell me they're proud of me. And when they recognize and they see the work that Daddy does, and they might not understand it now, but that's a beautiful thing in the future for them to be able to say they're proud of me. It means that they get clarity of what we do and the importance of how it's literally shaping the future country that they live in today.
What did you say, Mandy?
I wasn't in the room, maybe because I was still just recovering from the high of my big performance that you all
Should
will
we have
hear.
you sing it right now?
Oh, I don't know. I got a frog in my throat. Yeah. No, we can save it. We can save it for the episode in season 3. But I think my headline would be, I've been really fixated on restorative justice lately. So I think my headline would be something like restorative justice practices like taught in schools across America, and just how amazing I think that would be. I don't know, as someone in my 40s who came into restorative justice, I don't know, when we started working with Ashley, 2.5 years ago, not even 2.5. Just like what a profound impact it's had on me personally and professionally, and just what a benefit I think it would be for folks to learn about it and start practicing it at a younger age. I wish I had some of these skills, growing up when I was younger, but yeah, just so many things, and just really putting into words and practice how everything is just really rooted in relationships. And I'm just so grateful to have experienced that towards the end of the program, and love that it was just one of the pivots that we made, along with storytelling with Louise and restorative justice practices with Ashley. And I just think there's a lot to take away from it.
For the contact listeners, we had a 2 hour long straight through of a story jam of 21 people. We actually exceeded the number of slots. 21 people telling their stories, and I did not want to miss a single word. So I was holding from going to the bathroom. So I ran to the bathroom, and it took a while because I was holding after a lot of coffee. By the time I made it back to the room, the circle was already happening, and I thought it was actually pretty stunning of a sight to behold, to look at you all from outside the circle. So I didn't actually, but I want to share. I want to lift up one of our colleagues and Restorative Justice Committee member, Winnie Lindstrom, who said, "I knew we would live like this again." And that just hit me in the head, and I just spiritually passed out. I really hope, I can hope for our next generations. It might not be in my lifetime. The prompt was about 5 years from now, but let's say after I'm not here, I really hope we will see a headline like that for our next generation, for Mandy, your children, Cody, your children, and bless Winnie.
Robin and I had the same experience. We both stood outside the circle and just watched it unfold, right? Cody had led the group in like taking a series of deep breaths, giving them little prompts to think about in between these deep breaths.
Right.
It was beautiful to watch. And I also had the same experience of as Robin when Winnie said, I knew we would live like this again. I felt it in my spirit. I felt it in my stomach. I felt it in my chest. Like it was everywhere. And I have learned so much from Winnie over the last 4 years. I'm so grateful that she has been part of the team and, and speaks up. And so I'm super grateful for that. But yeah, that was really what hit me. I knew we would live like this again. And I'm trying to learn more about what that this is, in terms of Native practices and approaches to life and living and, just being together in ways that celebrate each other and, hold each other in ways that are not exploitative. And I'm looking forward to a different way of being. And that was just her statement really summed that up for me. And then I also think that another takeaway for me was just the community that we've built together as a larger IRL family, and then also as a national program center, and then even us as a podcast team has really given me solid ideas of what community can look like, and gives me a template to follow and adapt in other areas of my life in terms of creating community for myself and how I can support others and be for others what this community has been for me.
I want to speak on that. Definitely shout out to Winnie. And I just thought about how we all modeled what it was like to come together in community, even from an NPC and an RJ perspective. Because again, for the closing ceremony, shout out Taylor and shout out the whole RJ team, Ashley Ellis. That was a combined effort.
She couldn't make it with all kinds of travel snafu, and then we said,
we'll figure it out. We'll get it done. And it was a combined effort. And again, I led the closing ceremony. I was in front. It was a whole team behind me in order to make that happen. And I felt that in it in such a beautiful way. And it was our last moment together as a group. And again, it's the shared experience that we all had and the ability to do that together as a group, as a community. I think that was powerful.
Yeah. We got what we need for the work for the future. Can I just read off our Restorative Justice Committee members' names?
Yeah, sure.
To honor them. So it's all for all of us. Mandy, Cody, Krystal, Robin, and Miss Bobby Simpson Epps, Ifrabiu, Taylor Dunlap, who really helped designed the closing ceremony. Thank you, Taylor, and Winnie Lindstrom, Cindy Bailey, Kathleen Cole, and lastly, our coach forever, Ashley Ellis.
Ashley.
Breathe circles. Is Breathe Collective? Breathe Collective. Thank you all for sharing and reflecting with us. And thank you, Cody, for that wrap-up question from yesterday and allowing us to use it again today. Thank you, friends, for this journey that we've been on. I'm so excited to see season 3 unfold and get people's feedback on it. So thank you. Thank you for your work on this project with me. Thank you all, and thank you to our listeners. We would love to hear from you about the promising practices that you are doing in your work to achieve health and other kinds of equity. Find us on the Interdisciplinary Research Leaders LinkedIn page, where you can share your thoughts and leave questions for the team. And don't forget to subscribe to Promising Practices for Health Equity so you never miss an episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for joining us on this journey, where every step we take brings us closer to a healthier, more just world. Until next time, take care.
Promising Practices for Health Equity is produced by the Interdisciplinary Research Leaders Program, a national leadership program of the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. A special thanks to our guests, our production team at Studio Americana, and to you, our listeners, for being a part of this important conversation.